Hi, this is James Frey with Alberta Health Services for Health Matters. Today we're talking to Diane Britton. She's a registered dietitian with Alberta Health Services, and we're going to talk about school lunches. Now, Diane, it's September, back to school. Parents are struggling with school lunches. What suggestions can you give parents about school lunches?
Yeah, every fall is a dilemma, but parents are struggling what to put in their child's lunch. And I often hear from parents it's their least favorite chore of the day. And so I wanted to think of some ideas that are going to make it less stressful for the parents, but also more successful for the kids to actually eat the lunch. So one of the ideas is to actually create a list. Now the list is going to be a list of all your foods that your child likes in each of the 4 food groups. That's your vegetables and fruits, your grains, your milk and alternatives, and your meat and alternatives. And then you have your child go to the store with you, and they can choose food items from their list for their lunches that week. And really, it's the most successful way to get kids to eat lunch because they help create the lunch. Now, your role as a parent there is to guide the choices to make sure that list includes mostly nutrient-dense choices. So it's not just a free-for-all, for sure. But what's really exciting is Alberta Health Services this fall has available at the health unit at the train station. Schools can actually sound out a display. It's called a Healthy Lunch Kit, and it's displayed for schools. And also parents can actually pick up a 50 menu item idea list for healthy school lunches. So that's going to be available this fall. One of the other things I came up with is tools. So I want to have tools that are going to help you pack the lunch easier. So you want to have things like insulated lunch bags, ice packs. You want to have reusable containers. So making sure you have those tools on hand so the process is less frustrating. And the final idea I have is it's called a Boomerang Lunch. Now the Boomerang Lunch is a really neat concept. Your child brings home absolutely everything that wasn't used in their lunch that day. So any uneaten foods and even garbage. And the goal is to try to figure out what was stopping your child from eating those foods. So it's really important not to scold your child for not eating certain foods, but to find out why they didn't eat those foods. And just through discussion, you can come up with maybe alternatives for foods that they're going to enjoy more, or you learn a lot about your child. So one mom, for example, learned that her child couldn't open the containers with her mittens on at recess, and so they started sending an apple. And one dad found out that his child couldn't bite into the apple because he had a loose tooth and it hurt, so they started sending canned fruit. So the whole goal is to problem solve and find out how can we make these lunches successfully eaten and healthy.
Great. So what sort of things do you recommend for kids, or for parents anyways, to give their kids that are healthy choices?
Right, so looking at healthy choices, it doesn't matter what you pack if kids won't eat it. So the most successful way to get a lunch eaten is to, again, include the kid in the lunch. So you want to have the kids help you make the lunches, and preferably the night before, because mornings are usually pretty at most people's houses. So packing the lunch the night before, and have them pack at least one item from each of the 4 food groups, because then you're teaching them how to pack a balanced meal. And then some tips I have for making those lunches healthy are you want to include some fiber. So those whole grains are going to give them fiber, so whole grain breads, buns, wraps. And if your child doesn't like the traditional sandwich, you can pack it more like a picnic style. So maybe a bun, a whole grain bun, and then you have cubed ham, cubed cucumbers, and some cubed cheese. So it doesn't have to be all together. You want to try to include both a fruit and a vegetable. That's that fiber again. And kids love dip. So don't be afraid to send maybe some salad dressing to dip their vegetables in, or some hummus. Make it fun. And with fruit, if they're tired of the just plain fruit, you can try to send some yogurt for them to dip it in, or maybe a fruit salad, or even one of those 100% fruit bars. Then you also want to include a calcium source every day for those growing bones. So that's things like some kind of milk, yogurt, or cheese, and even a milk alternative like a Tetra Pak soy beverage. So you want to make sure you have that calcium as a really important part of that lunch. And then remember that kids have small stomachs, so protein's going to help the food last throughout the day for them. So you want to include something from that meat and alternative group. So any kind of meat, chicken, fish, any kind of meat alternative. So lentil soup, eggs. You can really get some variety there. And if there's a nut allergy in the room, instead of peanut butter, there's all sorts of sunflower butters, nut-free butters out there now that can help with that. And then the final thing with a balanced lunch is kids need to hydrate. So you want to pack some kind of beverage. And so we want to focus on milk and water. Those are the healthiest beverages for kids. Remember that children don't need juice. So if you do choose to give your child juice, we want to make sure it's 100% juice, and we want to limit it to about a half a cup to a cup a day. So about maximum 1 juice box a day would be the juice.
Great. Now, food safety is also a concern for parents, right? Because they are packing stuff that's maybe sitting in a locker all day, or
Yes, and especially for children. So the golden rule with food safety is to keep cold foods cold and hot foods hot. So you want to pack that ice pack to keep those items cold all day. And then you can just use a reusable microwave safe container, and the kids can heat up their food in the microwave at school. And if they don't have access to that, then you want to heat the lunch up in the morning and then pack it in a thermos so that thermos can keep it hot until lunch.
Great. Thanks very much, Diane. This has been some great information for us for back to school. This is James Frey with Alberta Health Services for Health Matters. See you next time.